Hello everyone, I am Simran Kaur and today we will be dealing with part 2 of chapter 7, Getting to Know Plants. In this we will cover topics like leaves, flowers and fruits. Leaf, you have seen leaf, it is a green, thin, flat structure attached to the stem. So we will talk about the parts of leaves. It consists of petiole, lamina, midrib and veins. Now this green flat structure which is visible, this is known as lamina or also it is known as leaf blade. This stick-like structure through which this leaf is attached to the stem is known as petiole. Then if you have looked closely to the leaf, then you might have seen that there are very thin fine lines which consist of vascular tissues, and those tissues carry water and minerals in the plant. So those thin fine lines are known as veins, and the thick vein which is present in the center is known as midrib. So all these parts are clear to you: petiole, lamina, midrib and veins. Then when you will see, you will find that these veins are arranged in a particular manner. They form a pattern. So that pattern, that arrangement of veins is known as venation, and it is of two types: reticulate and parallel venation. In reticulate venation, the veins are arranged in the form of a network. You can see this is a network, a web-like structure. This type of venation is known as reticulate venation. If this is visible to you, this is a pattern formed by the veins. Examples of plants are mango, peepal. These plants, the leaves of these plants have veins like this, reticulate venation. Then in case of parallel venation, the veins are arranged parallel to each other. They are parallel to each other, as you can see. You can see straight lines. These lines represent vein. An example of those plants are wheat and maize. Now kids, there is relation between the type of venation and the type of root. As you can see here, what type of venation is this? This is reticulate venation, web-like structure. So these plants always have taproots, and we have discussed what are taproots in our part 1. There is a main root and we can see roots arising from the lateral side, and the type and the plants in which leaves have parallel venation, the type of root is always fibrous. I am writing it here only. These are fibrous, hair-like structure. Now let's discuss some of the functions of leaves. Leaves make food. As we all know that leaves are the primary source of food. Why? Because they can produce their own food by the process called photosynthesis. By which process? Photosynthesis. So how they make food? For preparation of food, plant need carbon dioxide which is available in the atmosphere, then water which the root absorb from the soil, and in the presence of sunlight, and one more thing which is chlorophyll. In the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, chlorophyll is a green pigment which is present in the leaves. Plants prepare their food, they give us food and oxygen. As you all know that plants give us oxygen, but when? During photosynthesis. So we can say that what are the necessary conditions required for photosynthesis? Those are carbon dioxide, water, chlorophyll and sunlight, and they give us food and oxygen. The next function is leaves release water outside in the form of water vapor by the process of transpiration. Most of the water is utilized by the leaves, by the plant, but some water droplets, they are transpired by the plant through the process called transpiration. Transpiration is loss of water from the plant body. Like in case of human beings, during summer we sweat. Similarly, instead of sweating, we use the term transpiration for plants. Another function is gaseous gaseous exchange through stomata. Now, exchange of gases during respiration and photosynthesis takes place. So, those exchange of gases take place through stomata. And what are stomata? This is a leaf, and on this leaf so many small pores are present, tiny pores, and these pores are known as stomata. And like in case of human beings, we have nostrils, we have two nostrils through which we respire, we breathe, we inhale, we exhale. Similarly, in case of leaves, they have small pores known as stomata. So, exchange of gases takes place through stomata. Is this clear? This is transpiration in plant, loss of water. Okay, now modification of leaves. In sweet pea, tendrils help the plant in climbing. You can see this coiled thread-like structure. This is tendril, and these are modified leaves. Example is sweet pea. So, these tendrils help the plant to climb. Like in case of climbers, I told you that they take support of your neighboring wall or any neighboring plant. Then in xerophytic plants like cacti, leaves are modified into spines. In plant cactus, we cannot find leaves, but those spines are modified leaves, and they control the loss of water from the body of cactus. Then in an onion, leaves store food. These are the modified leaves. These fleshy leaves, they store food. Example is onion. Then in some plants, leaves are modified to trap insects. As we know that plants prepare their own food, they are not dependent on any other substance. But there are few plants which require nutrients, and those nutrients are available through insects only. And those plants are known as insectivorous plants because they eat insects. So, how do they eat? Because of the modified leaves. As you can see, there is a lid, means this is a modified leaf which work as a lid. So, when this insect sit inside this empty space, then this lid closes, and that's how this plant is eating this insect. So, that was all about leaves. Now, next is flower. Flowers are very attractive, they are very colorful, beautiful, they make our surrounding look beautiful. Okay, they have fragrance which attract so many insects. So, flower, it is a colorful part of shoot system. We studied two types of system, root and shoot. So, this is a part, flower is a part of shoot system. Then it is reproductive organ of the plant. Yes, this is the most important point. Flower is a reproductive part of a plant because it helps during reproduction. Now, we will discuss the parts of flower. There are 4 parts: sepals, petals, stamen and pistil. Now, stamen is male reproductive organ and pistil, it is female reproductive organ. Like in case of humans also, a male and female are required. Similarly, in case of flower, a male reproductive organ which is stamen and pistil, female organ is present. So, here is the figure, here is the structure of flower. I have flower with me, I will explain you. First look here, this green leaf like structure, this is known as sepal. Then these colorful beautiful leaves, it is known as petals. Like you have heard of rose petals, those red colored leaves, those are petals. Then male reproductive organ is known as stamen, and it consists of 2 parts, anther and filament. This bag-like structure, this is anther, inside which small pores are present, pollen grains, and they help in reproduction. And this tube-like structure, this thread-like structure is known as filament. So, stamen has 2 parts, which anther and filament. Then we will talk about pistil, or it is known as carpel, which is female reproductive organ. It consists of stigma. In the middle you can see this long tube. So, this top sticky structure is known as stigma. Then this tube-like structure is known as style, and this oval shaped structure is known as ovary. So this style connect stigma to the ovary, and inside this ovary so many ovules, means eggs, are present. So that was all about structure of flower. Now I will show you the same flower. Now I have taken this beautiful flower. Now this green leaf like structure is sepals, which is supporting our flower. This is sepal. Now these yellow leaves, yellow beautiful attractive leaves, these are petals. Then in the center I am tearing this flower. This is pistil, which is female reproductive organ. This long tube-like structure is style, and at the top can you see these orange thing? This is stigma. Now you will ask that where is ovary? Ovary is not directly visible, it is hidden inside this part. So I will show you ovary. This white structure, this is ovary, and inside this ovary ovules, that means eggs are present. Now we will talk about the male reproductive organ, which is stamen, and it consists of anther and filament. So if this is visible to you, then you can see these yellow spots. This is anther, and inside this anther pollen grains are present, and these white very thin thread like structure, this is filament. Now let us have a look on few functions and uses of flower. First, role in reproduction and multiplication. As you know that flowers are very attractive, so when insects sit on the flowers, it is not that they only sit on one flower, they travel from one flower to another flower. So unknowingly they are helping in transfer of pollen grains from one flower to the another flower on which female reproductive organ is present. So that's how they are helping in reproduction. It is a source of food, yes. Flowers, they have nectar, so this is food for so many insects, and cauliflower, broccoli, they are food for us, we eat it. Then flowers are used in perfumes also because flowers have fragrance. Then in spices like cloves, that is a dried flower. Now fruits, very yummy delicious fruit which is important for our health. So fruits, these are the important source of food for humans because they give us so many vitamins, minerals. It is ripened ovary of a flowering plant containing seeds. Now fruits are always present in the flowering plant because that flower afterwards develop into fruit. Now this is seed. This is the structure of seed in which cotyledon is present, which provide nourishment to our seed, and you can see that this top part and this bottom part, this forms embryo, the baby plant. This top part is known as plumule, which results in the shoot system, and this bottom part, which is known as reticle, it forms the root system of the plant. And this, we know that gradually the seed develops into a plant, and from where do we get the seed? From the fruit. So in fruit, the ovary which I showed you just right now, that ovary develops into fruit, and the ovules which were inside the ovary, they develop into seed, and inside seed embryo is present. That's why after eating fruit, when we throw away the seed, so it develops into a new plant. Why? Because that seed contains embryo, and this embryo develops into a new plant. So that was all about chapter 7. I hope you understood the chapter well. Thank you.